This is just in one place a quick flowchart for our program, and you've been hearing about all of these different components, about the mentoring, about the advising, about the gateway course, about the research placements, and this is the timeline of how this all falls into sequence and what it is and the purpose, what we're hoping you'll gain from it. So you are already to the third step. Again, the spring involved our selection process and now the orientation. And as you heard Carol say, this program has begun this week. Some things in store. Again, you'll be able to connect with Charles over the summer or in the early fall. We want to match you up with mentors by the fall term, and then you'll take the Gateway course sometime in your sophomore year, and then you'll begin the research placements next summer, and then continue on in doing research with the research learning communities for the remainder of the program. And of course there will be workshops and supports for applying to graduate school and all of the other program components. So again, there's more to it than this, but we wanted you to have this basic framework, and I hope this addresses some of the questions about how it all fits together and what's coming ahead. Are there questions? So we would still want you to take one of our Gateway courses. At PSU, it's a sync course. So we would still, the Gateway course has special content for Exito. We could talk to Charles because some of that is available in hybrid or online format. So we could maybe make some arrangements, but there is some critical content in the Gateway course that is actually required by NIH for all training programs about the research ethics, responsible conduct of research, and other basics that provide a good foundation for scholars in preparation for going into working on projects, working in labs. So actually, you may have heard we have another full week in store next week with the faculty. So we spend all week working on curriculum development and other program management things. So we're actually continuing to fine-tune the Gateway courses and encourage more consistency and across the different sites, but that really is something that is a common experience for all scholars. So.
Similarly, I'm in the same boat, except for I'm a co-admitted student. Can co-admitted students take the PSU Gateway course?
Yes, we're trying to make sure that all of the Gateway courses would get you PSU credit if you're at a community college. Again, that isn't always worked out in every case now, but that's what we're aiming for, so that it's a good transfer for anybody that is taking it from somewhere else at PSU but ends up at PSU.
But if I'm already co-admitted to PSU, can I just take the PSU?
Yeah, I would recommend that. So. Oh, okay, sure.
So I think, I know a couple other people were confused on this too, but it says on here, like we talked yesterday about how the RLCs don't really start until junior year, or I guess it's summer before junior year, but when we were having some of the presentations from last year's scholars, it sounded like some of them were already in like labs and stuff.
Good observation skills there. So in our first cohort, we actually selected students who were at 2 levels. We had some rising sophomores and we had some rising juniors. So there were about a dozen rising juniors, and we actually hadn't anticipated that. So we actually had to scramble this past year to find some placements for those 12 students. And so the good side of that is that they forced us to get that part of the program in place, and then we were able to feature what it was like for them this past year. So the ones you heard from were sort of more advanced than the typical entry point into Exito. But the one thing is that, you know, if you're so inclined and you want to connect with a professor doing research even this coming year, I mean, we're not saying you have to wait. I mean, you know, many faculty do take students to work on their projects as volunteers, and you heard some of the faculty mention that. So if you wanted to do it in that capacity this year, that's fine. It's just that next summer your status in the program will change to trainee, and that's when you'll actually get kind of pay for doing it. You know, that's when it'll become official part of the Exito program. But certainly if you have a professor that you want to work with, and you could approach them anytime and see if there's an opportunity to get started on the research even sooner, if that's an interest.
Hi, I was just wondering whether the Gateway course has to be taken in the fall or the spring. It does have to be taken in spring?
Actually, I hope what it shows here is that you could take it in the fall or in the spring if you hadn't. So sometime before your entry into the RLC is the idea.
Could it hypothetically be taken during this summer, is that too early?
I'm not sure that it'll be offered at any site this summer.
Okay, just wondering. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So anyway, your site leaders will be able to clarify how all of these steps work at your site. But we wanted you to have this because I know there have been some questions about how this all fits together. And you may notice that on the back page, we have the NIH Consortium Hallmarks of Success for Trainees. So you saw the representatives from NIH, and when they made this investment in the BUILD initiative, these are the kinds of things that they were hoping that students would be able to do here in Exito, but in all of the BUILD sites. This is the common framework for all 10 grants. So again, we think that it's good to just share this with you now. This is, again, just some things that we're hoping will come out of it overall. Again, it's not, you heard many of our speakers say it's a long and winding road and people take different pathways. So this is just sort of, again, a general framework, and it may not fit, maybe not everything fits for you, but we're hoping that the majority of it will become familiar to all of you over time. And when you're working with your mentors and instructors and site leaders, you know, this is what we are trying to do, is provide you the opportunities to have these experiences and to gain these skills. And this is what it might look like when you're all done with Exito.